You're listening to Eat, Play, Sex with Dr. Cat, the place to up-level that sexy life of yours, with expert talk on sex, love, and nutrition.
This topic we're talking about flirting, and I'm wondering if that can even be a powerful tool to be able to help around flirting, because I think the pitfall of flirting is that I mean, it's an art, and some of us can get really hesitant around it. And
Mm-hmm.
so I almost see how identifying these different parts can be really helpful in moving through the hesitancy or the uncertainty around it.
That's exactly right. And I think that when I see kind of epic flirting fails, they come of two main varieties. And one is exactly what you just named, which is like the hesitant, scared, I'm bracing for rejection, or I'm already assuming it, or I think that there's something wrong with my desires, it's inappropriate, all of that. But then there's the other category of like, I'm just so hungry and there's such a lack and a yearning and a longing, and I'm so consumed by my desires that it can feel really overwhelming and kind of invading to the other person. And I think that for folks who maybe experience one or the other, sometimes both, getting to like see, oh, that's the part of me that's feeling really hungry and unmet, or that's the part of me that's feeling a lack of confidence and insecure, and then saying, okay, can I love that part up, and can I connect to something that's a little bit more core and deeper, my body, my desire, my genitals, like whatever it is that could be like a really embodied, a tactile way of like noticing that there's something else here too.
Wow. Yeah. I think, and so that is very much speaking from a trauma lens too. What I'm hearing you say is like, and in other past podcasts, we talk a lot about the activation of our nervous system and the body. And so getting it regulated first, getting embodied first, helps us to be able to then move forward from a place of conscious connection and versus being defaulting to some of these past patterns or showing up in a situation where we're like buzzing or we're like, "Ugh," which it might be intense.
Yeah, exactly. And so if you are the kind of person where you notice it's hard for you to feel confident, what I recommend that you do is you breathe into your genitals, like really do some pelvic floor tightening and releasing and pumping of your muscles, and feel your desire. Think of something really erotic that turns you on, and like connect to that erotic impulse before you flirt. And feel it and see if you can even come to a place of enjoying that feeling of desire or pleasure or turn on. And then if you're somebody that where sometimes you get really consumed and really hungry and maybe is perceived as overwhelming, then I would recommend that you connect with the back of your body. Focus on your spinal cord. Focus on seeing if you can notice the back of your head, or feel your feet on the ground, and kind of pull your energy towards the back of your body.
And why is that? Why do you designate between those two?
Yeah, I think that when we're not feeling confident, then we are often feeling really anxious and we're stuck in our head and we're having all these anxious thoughts. And so pulling into your desire lives in the body. And so pulling into an embodied sense of desire, and oftentimes doing those pelvic floor exercises helps you feel a little bit of desire, or energy, or warmth, or tingling feeling that can help you connect to desire. I think that that can be a really big source of confidence because it gets you into exactly a more embodied place, right? And then I think that connecting to the back of the body when you're feeling that intensity of desire and overwhelm is really helpful, because I think what's happening is you're losing sight of yourself and being consumed by your lust and desire for somebody else. And that's what feels confronting for the other person, because it's like, well, where are you in this? Like, it's all about me, and it's too much energy on me. And so by noticing, and also often in a body language aspect, there's a leaning in that starts to happen, and like on the tips of your toes, and you start to like notice that you're not really conscious of body, personal space in the same way. And so by putting your attention on the back of your body, again, you're getting embodied, but you're noticing your own spatial awareness internally, which helps you notice your spatial awareness externally. And it draws some of your attention and focus to yourself, which then helps it feel less overwhelming for the other person.
That is so eloquently stated, because when I'm talking with people, I'm newly back into the dating world. So I'm getting to like field experiment all these things. And I've been describing to friends, I'm like, yeah, this person had a very pooling energy, and the texture of the energy was very pooling. Or I'll say, like, there was this energy that was almost like it was being put onto me. And I haven't really been able to, you know, describe it as adequately as you just did here, but it grounds what you're saying. It grounds what I've been experiencing energetically so well,
Hmm.
because it is like this texture of like suffocation, or being pulled in towards somebody as almost like to fill them in a sense. And
Mhm.
so what you're saying here is really, really powerful. When so for people who are flirting and they're kind of hitting up against this, it's not quite working. How can they, are there signs and signals that they can pick up from other people to help them? Because it's not like for me, I'm very blunt, and I ask people how, I'm like, give me feedback, and like not everybody's ready can do that. So how can they be their own experimenters or their own field scientists for themselves?
I love that question. Well, I think the first thing, and I know that this is a little bit more challenging to do during COVID times, but not impossible, is to become a people watcher.
Ooh.
Because I think that there's very clear body language cues that people give. And my
Mhm.
favorite thing is to go to parks or public places and observe people, especially
Mhm.
duos, and try and imagine what their relationship dynamic is. How are they feeling towards each other? What's their emotional state right now? And what body cues, what language are they doing non-verbally that's giving me that information? And
Mm.
so I think that considering, are they leaning in versus leaning away? Are they making eye contact with you? Are they smiling? Are they reciprocating touch? Is the content of the conversation getting a little bit juicier? Like there are certain
Mhm.
things that we can track.
Mhm.
But I think what's hard for us is that when we get nervous, we tend to speed up. So think about public
Mhm.
speaking. If you get really nervous about public speaking, you're going to talk really, really fast, and you're going to try and get to the end as quickly as
Mhm.
possible. And the
Mhm.
same thing is true with flirting. If you're nervous, you're just going to try and like go for it really quickly. And so that doesn't really leave space to notice body language, or even
Wow,
to
yeah.
notice how the little things that you're doing are being received because the other
Yeah.
person doesn't have a chance to digest it.
Yeah.
So I think slowing down is so important, and then
Uh-huh.
looking for these little body language cues and getting more comfortable by watching other people will
Yeah.
help you in the moment notice other in your own dynamic.
Yeah. So this is just like foreplay, right? This is like
Yeah.
you're
Well, I
like
think
slowing down, social foreplay.
totally. I think one of the most important things that people don't understand about flirting and foreplay, seduction, the whole nine yards, is that it's not linear. Or when it's
Mhm.
sometimes it's linear, but that's like wham bam yum thank you boom, and that's has
Mhm.
its time and place. But I think most experiences are like a wave, or like you go escalate a little bit and then this moment of de-escalation, and then you escalate and then a moment of de-escalation. And what that does is actually, in a flirting context, it demonstrates that you welcome no's, that you're okay
Mm.
slowing down, that you're creating space for them to move forward towards you,
Mhm.
um, you're letting things have breathing room to develop and unfold a little bit more organically, and you're leaving room for them to have longing and yearning. And in a
Yeah.
sexual dynamic, I think that like in foreplay, I want to have those moments of just slowing down, eye contact, breathing together, like a softer touch. Like it, from a nervous system perspective, right? It helps me ground in the moment, and it actually increases my capacity to desire to flirt or for more foreplay.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. That's really powerful, because there's a level of mystery there as well as desire. You're holding yourself. You're not making the other person hold you, but you're moving towards. But there's still an element that they get to discover, which is interesting.
Lovers, thank you again for tuning in. If you enjoyed the show, hit subscribe and head over to eatplaysex.com to connect with me and grab my sexy guides. Because my goal here is to get you to eat, play, and sex better so you can improve your sex life, which will improve every aspect of your life. Until next time, keep it sexy.